Every famous rock and roll band has a story to tell, and that's what the show Behind the Music is for. But the latest novel by New York Times best-selling fiction author Marissa Stapley tells the mysterious tale of a band that reads more like a behind the artist's journey. Marissa joins us now to talk about her book, The Lightning Bottles. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. We were just talking about how much we love this cover here, but walk us through, what was your inspiration behind sharing this story?
So I grew up in the 90s. I grew up listening to Nirvana, Hole, Sinead O'Connor, Jeff Buckley. Those are all artists who had tragedy in their lives. And I knew I always wanted to write something in this era. I always wanted to write about music. But when I started coming up with a story, I realized I wanted to rewrite their stories and maybe try to give them a different ending, an ending that fans could only dream of and wish for, and probably still do.
And as the reader makes their way, through the lightning bottles here, something that our newsroom noticed is that it really takes you back to a lot of things that people loved. So the time of chat rooms, radio DJs, influential record labels here. Why was it important for you to incorporate and reminisce about these days?
I think that the 90s it was such a different time. Mm-hmm. And as I started putting myself back there, I realized, like, I have teenage kids, I tell them what it was like, they're just like, what are you talking about? Please tell me. It's like it's so different. So it was so important to immerse myself and truly feel that nostalgia myself so that other people would feel it. So I'm getting feedback that people feel nostalgic, but other people are like, wow, what an era that you grew up in.
I want to touch a little bit on the story itself too, but the characters in here too. There is some mystery where we talked about that. That's always the fun part for me when it comes to reading. But then there's also some hope and humanity in there, and that includes the main character Jane, who is able to connect with Hen by Jen slowly seeing themselves or their younger selves there. Can you talk to us a little bit about that generational connection?
So I think it's a generational connection, definitely, but also what I was really exploring with Hen is the idea of the way that a super fan will feel about an artist. And I definitely felt that for Sinead O'Connor, for all the artists I loved. They existed in my mind like characters.
So you saw yourself in
So I saw
Hen
myself in Hen, but I thought, the price of fame is steep. We see it every day. We see what it looks like to be under the spotlight and the public eye. But there is something beautiful at the root of fandom, and so I wanted to show that. But then you're right, like having these two women who are from very different generations. I loved the way, the times in their lives too. I loved the way Jane was able to see herself in Hen and start to have compassion for the self she left behind, because she felt a lot of shame about who she was and who she became, and then through getting to know Hen. And then for Hen, she realized Jane is a human being, because we don't realize that about the people we idolize. We forget all too often.
Yeah, because there's that culture of just, we don't know what their lives are like, but we see what's on social media. But this was before the time of social media, and so you have that appreciation for how people are connecting really without our cell phones. I wanted to ask you, the lightning bottles, where do you see this going? Do you have any hopes for it to maybe get on the screens somewhere?
I do. So of course, you can never really talk about it, but there definitely is some news in the works about that for a TV series. And I can just, it's so vivid. I think that it will translate so well to a TV series that I've thought many times about who would play the characters. And I see Sydney Chandler as Jane, and maybe Jacob Elordi or Timothy Chalamet or Jeremy Allen White as Elijah. Although I keep saying Elijah really is Jeff Buckley. If we could just figure out a way to bring him back, that would be perfect. So
I did think of Timothy Chalamet for
that's who he's playing Bob Dylan.
Yes, that's who I pictured. One last question for you as authors. Something that there seems to be a connection on TikTok here. Where I think they call it book talk.
Yes.
A community of readers, who share stories, who share authors they love. I'm not sure if you saw that, you're able to see that, but just speaking with authors, how nice is it to be able to see this community coming together on TikTok? They're getting thousands and millions of views and just launching into conversations that maybe wouldn't be possible without this platform.
It's so exciting. I mean, that's a way of bridging generations too, because it's this new thing, and I don't always understand it, but the thing is, it's like brought literature to the forefront, and it's so beautiful to watch people, sometimes in real time, like engaging and enjoying stories and getting emotional and making beautiful art too, because it is beautiful art. These reels are incredible. So I appreciate it so much. I will look at any book talk anyone wants to make about this one and really enjoy it. Yeah.
And I love that you put so much into your writing, so much into your book, so much into your art. Thank you so much, Marissa, for coming here to speak with us. The Lightning Bottles, that's the name of the book here. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.